To me, there are a few key things that are needed to make a good JRPG. First is exploration. I love a game that makes exploration both fun and rewarding. Next is a good combat system, good characters, and a good story. But you also can't have a great JRPG without great monsters to encounter. In this video, I'm going to be counting down the top 10 Final Fantasy monsters. Some of these guys are absolutely iconic, and others are just monsters that I've always loved. Now, in order to make this list, they cannot be strictly boss fights. Some might be boss fights in like 1 or 2 games, but are regular monsters in others. Those guys are allowed on the list. Now, let's get started.
Number 10.
The Malboro is here at number 10 because I really have a love-hate relationship with this guy. It's a great monster, I must admit, and it's iconic to the franchise, but man do I hate running into this asshole. This monster can status fuck you beyond belief, and it's almost always worth it to hunt at least one of them down. Either to learn their blue magic's bad breath, or to get an item you need to make a powerful weapon or accessory. Malboros are a necessary evil.
Number 9.
Number 9 is a classic monster that only really appears in Final Fantasy 7 and 9. Here we have the crafty looking hedgehog pie. This devious little son of a bitch just has a great design, especially for a monster that you'll be encountering really early on in the games. In Final Fantasy 9, you can learn the blue magic Pumpkinhead from eating them, which can actually be a fairly powerful spell, and it's usually one of the first blue magic spells you can get in the game. Pumpkinhead drops a giant pumpkin from the sky, which deals non-elemental damage based on the difference between your maximum and current HP, so it's useful throughout the entirety of the game. There's also this damn part where you have to sneak a key past a pissed off hedgehog pie in order to free all the party members from Kuja's desert prison. This is the most intense game of red light green light you'll ever play, all thanks to your stubbly little frog body and the ferocity of this angry hedgehog pie. It's so stupid because the hedgehog pie is clearly locked in a cage, so I'm not sure why Sid is even afraid of him, but I just love this dumb little minigame so much. It just adds to the personality of this great monster.
Number 8.
Number 8 on my list is special to me because it gets the plot started in not just my favorite Final Fantasy game, but my second favorite as well. The bomb is just a sentient ball of fire, but it's used so well in both Final Fantasies 4 and 9 to get the main characters in a whole world of shit to start off their journeys. They can sometimes join together to form the iconic Mom Bomb, or slowly grow to self-destruct and do tons of damage on their way out. These guys are usually easily taken out by water or ice spells, but they also have an ice variant in some games which requires you to switch things up a bit. Proof that sometimes simple is the way to go, the bomb deserves its place at number 8.
Number 7.
Number 7 is a monster that's only shown up twice. 3 times if you count the Final Fantasy VII Remake. The Hell House, or Armstrong as it's known in Final Fantasy IX, is a hilariously awesome monster. A living battle house found inside Midgar in Final Fantasy VII and the Forgotten Continent in Final Fantasy IX. These guys are usually heavily armored and can do a decent amount of damage if you aren't careful when you first encounter them. Just the concept of these monsters alone is great, but they're actually well done and some of the most memorable monsters in the franchise, despite only appearing twice. The Hell House also finds itself as a hellacious boss fight in Final Fantasy VII Remake's Colosseum.
Number 6.
The Behemoth, or sometimes even Kaiser or Emperor Behemoth, is another monster I have a love-hate relationship with. The monster itself is just so damn cool and powerful, but I really wish they wouldn't shit a giant meteor spell on me half the time when I kill them. These guys are big, massive purple monsters that are always tough to take down. I always see these guys as a challenge and have to kill at least one of them in each game I play just to prove myself. For being so incredibly powerful and iconic, but not as annoying to deal with as the Malboro, behemoths deserve their place at number 6 on the list.
Number 5.
Number 5 is a monster that is not only gigantic and defense heavy, but almost always drops some incredible loot. I'm of course talking about the Adamantus. These guys are always holding on to something that can be used to make some of the best gear in each of their respective games. They're also almost always difficult to take down, especially if all you have at your disposal are physical attacks. This giant ass mountain of a turtle is even used as a post-game super boss in Final Fantasy 15, where it finally looks like an actual life-size mountain.
Number 4.
Iron Giant, or Iron Man, is similar to the Adamantus in that it's a giant defensive killing machine that drops some of the best loot in the franchise. Every time you first run into these guys, you know you're in for a tough fight. They have some devastating attacks that can quickly wipe out your party if you aren't careful, and like the Adamantus, they're sometimes very resistant to physical attacks. For someone like me who generally doesn't like to use black magic, these guys can be a royal pain in the ass, but they're just too awesome for me to hate.
Number 3.
Finally, a helpful monster on this list. Magic pots are these little guys that hide out in pots and demand elixirs. If you give in to their demands, you'll usually be rewarded with a shitload of ability points, which in Final Fantasy 5 and 7 is a huge deal. If you're out grinding job classes or materia, these are the dudes you want to fight. Just make sure to stock up on elixirs and give her balls. They're probably the most useful monsters in the entire franchise, and they have a nice crafty design. I also just love the concept of having these sneaky little bastards show up for the first time, confusing and tempting the player to give in to its demands.
Number 2.
Now we're getting into some tough decisions. I love numbers 1 and 2 almost equally, but have to give the edge to number 1. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who these guys are. Standing strong at number 2 is the spooky ass Tonberry. These guys are always creeping towards you, making you wonder what they could possibly be up to. You keep hitting them, but they won't go down. Then all of a sudden they get close enough to someone in your party and doink! You're dead. Their Chef's Knife attack in all of the games is incredibly powerful, even one-hit killing your characters in some games. They also sometimes have a counterattack called Everyone's Grudge that can also sometimes instantly kill the party member who's being countered. I love everything about Tonberries, from their design to their moves, and of course the fact that in Final Fantasy VIII you can actually get one as a summon. But this all holds true with our number 1 monster on the list as well.
Number 1.
Number 1 on my list is the always sprinting Cactuar. If he's not hiding in the sand, he's doing his best to fuck you up with his 1000 Needles attack, then getting the hell out of there. These guys have all the mystique and legend of a Tonberry, but with twice the charm, and are actually useful for grinding in a lot of the games. Cactuars almost always drop excessive amounts of ability points to help speed up your progress if you can manage to kill them before they kill you or run away. As a massive Dragon Quest fan, I've always considered the Cactuar to be the metal slime of the Final Fantasy franchise, and they really are the closest thing. These little guys have a ton of personality, especially when you take into consideration all their other forms like the Jumbo Cactuar and his hilarious mustache. Also, much like the Tonberry, you can actually summon these guys in Final Fantasy VIII after defeating the Jumbo Cactuar. I just love these hyper, terrified, prickly sons of bitches. So get your pricks out and come celebrate at the number 1 spot with the Cactuar crew. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. This was a bit shorter of a top 10 than I'm used to, as I'm coming off a few really long ones, like my top 10 final boss fights and top 10 Final Fantasy games. I'm also working on and saving my top 10 classic Mega Man games video for when I get to 100 subscribers. So if you want to see that, please be sure to subscribe and send these videos around to your friends and family who might be interested. Please click that like button, and thank you so much for all your support. You can also catch me live at least 3 nights a week on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Dookie03. I've been playing Far Cry 5 with my good friend Fates, as well as Xenoblade Chronicles in the evenings and Castlevania games on Saturday mornings, now that I finished all the Mega Man games. Let me know who some of your favorite Final Fantasy monsters are in the comments. Hope to see you all again soon.